The Kraken, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. The Kraken is the epitome of terror in Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest. It's not your average sea creature. It's an apocalyptic force summoned from the ocean's depths to bring destruction. Controlled by Davy Jones, the Kraken's sole purpose is to sink ships and drag sailors to a watery grave. When it arrives, there's no escape. Just massive tentacles, ear-splitting roars, and a cold, dark ocean that swallows you whole. The Kraken's attack is relentless. Its giant tentacles breach the surface, tearing apart ships like they're toothpicks, leaving nothing but chaos in its wake. It's not just a creature of brute strength. It's an unstoppable force of nature that operates without hesitation. The crew of the Black Pearl knows what's coming, and there's nothing they can do to stop it. It's like a bad breakup with nature, where you're left sinking with no way out. What makes the Kraken so terrifying isn't just its size, it's its inevitability. No matter how fast you sail, how many cannonballs you fire, or how clever you are, the Kraken will always get its target. It's like that one friend who ruins every plan without trying. Except this time, it's your life being dragged under by huge, grasping tentacles. The Kraken is the sea monster, a reminder that some problems are simply too big, too powerful, and too inevitable to change. It's a metaphor for the uncontrollable chaos we all face at times. Sometimes, survival isn't about strength or strategy. It's about facing the storm and hoping you make it through. The Kraken doesn't need an evil plan. It's just doing its job. And pirates fear it because it represents the kind of force that can't be fought, only endured. Te Moana. Te is one of Disney's most visually striking and emotionally complex villains. Her transformation from the gentle goddess Te into the molten, volcanic force of nature that is Te is driven by betrayal and heartbreak. She was once the embodiment of life and creation, until Maui, in his typical blend of arrogance and misguided heroism, stole her heart. And honestly, who could blame her for being a little upset when her heart is literally ripped away, leaving her a broken, vengeful shell of her former self? Stealing a goddess's heart? Not the best move, Maui. Te fiery rage becomes an outward manifestation of the pain and abandonment she feels. Her fury is so intense that it seems like she's the living embodiment of a really bad day, when everything goes wrong and you can't seem to catch a break, except in her case, it's lava instead of a tantrum. What makes Te so fascinating and so tragic is that her villainy comes not from a desire to wreak havoc, but from the emotional scars of betrayal. She's not some random monster bent on destruction for fun. She's a being so deeply wounded by the theft of her heart that her anger is all-consuming. It's like being ghosted by the love of your life, and then somehow becoming the very storm that destroys everything in your path. We've all had those moments where the world feels unfair, and you just want to scream into the void. Te just happens to have lava powers to express it. Her entire being is consumed by the desire for revenge, not because she's evil, but because she feels that the world wronged her in the worst way possible. But here's where Te's character takes a beautiful turn. Unlike most villains who remain entrenched in their darkness, Te's redemption comes through healing, not from external punishment, but from the return of her stolen heart. Moana, with her courage and determination, returns the heart of Te Fiti, allowing the goddess to heal and restore her peaceful nature. It's a classic tale of finding inner peace, but with a whole lot more lava and destruction than your average self-help book. It's like getting closure on a bad breakup, but with fewer tears and more magical transformations. In the end, Teika's story is a poignant reminder that even the most powerful forces of destruction can heal, given the right circumstances. And maybe, just maybe, we all need to reclaim a little piece of ourselves that we've lost to heal from the pains of the past. Teika's transformation from fiery demon to peaceful goddess is a metaphor for how much personal healing can be achieved when we stop clinging to our pain and embrace forgiveness, whether it's of others or, in some cases, of ourselves. So yes, she may burn everything down along the way, but in the end, she finds her way back to peace. Talk about the ultimate redemption arc. Bruni, the fire spirit, Frozen 2. Bruni, the fire spirit in Frozen 2, is tiny, adorable, and, let's be honest, absolutely combustible. This little salamander has the unfortunate ability to set entire forests on fire every time he gets excited, nervous, or even a little too happy. Bruni's emotional state is a disaster waiting to happen, and when he feels anything too strongly, the flames follow. It's like if your emotional roller coaster came with a side of wildfire. Honestly, if I had that power, I'd be burning down half the neighborhood every time I had a stressful morning. But here's the twist. Bruni's chaos isn't intentional. He's simply overwhelmed by his own energy. Can we blame him? I mean, if I accidentally burned down a forest every time I had a feeling, I'd be in therapy too. Bruni's not trying to hurt anyone. He's just struggling to control his emotions. Bruni's role in Frozen 2 is a reminder that sometimes the scariest forces in the world are the ones that don't mean harm. They just can't manage their power. His connection to Elsa is a metaphor for learning to control our own emotions and abilities. As Elsa befriends Bruni, it's like a lesson in self-control and emotional growth. Who knew a fire-breathing salamander would be the ultimate guide to emotional self-care? Bruni teaches us that it's okay to be overwhelmed, but it's important to learn how to channel that energy. Otherwise, you might accidentally set everything on fire, and maybe invest in some fireproof mittens while you're at it. The Earth Giant Herd, Frozen 2. The Earth Giant Herd in Frozen 2 are enormous, elemental beings made from stone, representing the raw, untamed power of the earth itself. These giants are awakened when Elsa and her crew venture into the enchanted forest. At first glance, they might appear to be mindless giants whose only purpose is to crush everything in their path. But there's more to them than meets the eye. The Earth Giants aren't villains. They're simply the forest's security system gone haywire. Imagine what happens when the Earth gets fed up and decides it's time to have a bad day. Well, this is what you get. These creatures aren't evil. They're doing their job, protecting the forest from any disturbance. But their size and strength make them incredibly intimidating. When they react, it's not out of malice, it's instinct. They feel the disturbance caused by Elsa's arrival and react with the sheer force of nature, unaware of their power. It's like when you accidentally step on your dog's tail and they give you that look. You're lucky I'm still a good boy, or I'd be wreaking havoc too. The Earth Giants symbolize the overwhelming, uncontrollable power of nature, capable of nurturing and providing, but also capable of destruction when not respected or understood. Their role in Frozen 2 is much more than just a physical threat. They represent nature's balance, something Elsa must come to understand if she is to fully embrace her powers. The giants act as a reminder that the forces of nature are not to be tampered with carelessly. They're not malicious. They're just the earth doing its thing. In the end, Elsa learns that balance, respect, and harmony with the world around her are essential for not just survival, but for peace and understanding. Nature doesn't need to explain itself. It just is, and sometimes you have to learn how to live with it, or it'll knock you down. The Titans, Hercules. The Titans from Hercules are a group of ancient, colossal beings that were so powerful, the gods had no choice but to imprison them to prevent them from destroying the world. When they break free, they embark on a mission of utter destruction, threatening the very existence of Mount Olympus. These Titans are not just massive, they possess incredible elemental powers, ranging from controlling water to manipulating the earth itself. Each Titan is a unique and terrifying force of nature, and when united, they create an unstoppable threat to both the gods and humans alike. What makes the Titans truly terrifying is their complete lack of restraint. Unlike many villains who plot, scheme, and strategize, the Titans act purely on instinct. They don't need a reason to destroy, they just do. They're driven by raw, uncontrolled power, wrecking everything in their path simply because they can. It's like when a toddler gets their hands on a box of crayons and a white wall. They're not thinking about consequences. They're just going to leave their mark. The Titans' overwhelming strength and unrelenting chaos make them an impossible challenge for Hercules and his friends, creating a desperate struggle against a force that's simply too big and too powerful to reason with. The Titans represent the untamable side of nature, where destruction isn't planned, but just a natural outcome of sheer force being unleashed. Their appearance in Hercules isn't just an attack on the gods. It's a reminder that sometimes the most terrifying forces are the ones that can't be reasoned with, controlled, or even understood. They're the ultimate force of nature villains in the Disney universe, reminding us of the uncontrollable chaos that can emerge when raw power is freed without boundaries. The Beast, Beauty and the Beast. At first glance, the Beast from Beauty and the Beast may seem like an unlikely villain. He's not trying to take over the world or destroy everything in his path, and his appearance might make you think he's just a big, furry creature with a bad attitude. But the Beast's transformation from a kind-hearted prince into a frightening, cursed creature is rooted in his own deep flaws, arrogance, selfishness, and a complete lack of empathy. It's like if a fairy tale version of a frat bro got cursed for being a jerk. Cursed by an enchantress, the Beast is forced to live in isolation with only one chance to redeem himself. Learn to love and be loved in return. His monstrous form becomes a reflection of the ugliness inside him, a physical manifestation of the inner demons that can shape how we present ourselves to the world. What makes the Beast such a compelling character is that his real power doesn't come from his terrifying appearance or brute strength. It comes from his vulnerability. As the story progresses, we see him begin to transform emotionally. He learns the value of kindness, humility, and love, not because someone told him to, but because he begins to understand the importance of these qualities. He's not just a villain, he's a giant, furry ball of emotional baggage trying to work through his own issues. Kind of like that one friend who's rough around the edges, sarcastic, and always the one starting the drama, but deep down just needs a hug and maybe a good cry. What sets the Beast apart from many villains is that his villainy isn't born out of malice or hatred. It's a result of his inability to control his emotions and impulses. He's a victim of his own inner turmoil, constantly fighting between his desire for power and his fear of being vulnerable. His monstrous form symbolizes his emotional isolation and self-imposed distance from others. Imagine if your biggest flaw was being so emotionally distant that your own reflection scared you. Yikes. The Beast's journey is a powerful reminder that even the most intimidating figures can be shaped by their inner struggles. His redemption arc shows that transformation is possible for those who are willing to confront their demons, change, and learn to open their hearts. In the end, the Beast's character arc is one of the most touching examples of emotional growth in Disney history. He starts out as a seemingly evil figure, but over time, his real enemy is revealed, his inability to truly connect with others. By learning to love and show compassion, the Beast proves that redemption is always possible, no matter how monstrous we might appear on the outside. Who knew that all it would take to change a cursed, angry beast into a prince was a little kindness, a dash of vulnerability, and one enchanted rose? The Droon, Raya and the Last Dragon. The Droon are the main antagonists in Raya and the Last Dragon, a cloud of malevolent energy that turns living creatures to stone with just a touch. Born from fear and distrust, they spread like a viral plague across the land of Kumandra, growing stronger with every fearful thought and act of division. Rather than being physical monsters, the Droon represent the destructive forces of fear, anger, and mistrust. Essentially, everything that can tear societies apart. What makes them terrifying isn't just their power to turn people to stone, but their ability to divide. They don't need weapons. Their real weapon is exploiting the cracks between people. Like that one toxic friend who turns every group outing into a disaster. You know the type. You like pineapple on pizza? What's wrong with you? The Droon's power comes from feeding on the fear and mistrust between people, breaking down unity without even lifting a finger. Raya learns that the only way to defeat the Droon isn't with swords or magic, it's through trust and unity. The Droon's idea of a good time is making sure everyone fights over who gets the last slice of pizza. Ultimately, the Droon are a metaphor for how division, fear, and mistrust can destroy anything. And the only way to stop them is to rebuild connections and overcome the emotional cracks in society. Talk about a group project you definitely don't want to be a part of. In the end, the Droon remind us that, like in the real world, the most dangerous threats often come from the fractures we allow to grow between us. Who knew a floating cloud of negativity could teach us so much about keeping the peace? The Winged Demons, Fantasia, Night on Bald Mountain. The Winged Demons from Fantasia's Night on Bald Mountain segment are not just villains. They're a nightmarish vision of pure chaos. When the evil spirit Chernabog summons them to the mountain, they emerge as winged creatures that wreak havoc on the surrounding land. These demons are the physical representation of darkness and destruction, pulling everything into an abyss of torment and despair. They are creatures born from the very essence of evil. No reason, no purpose, just a terrifying manifestation of pure, malevolent force. What makes the winged demons so chilling is their grotesque appearance and how they embody fear itself. They're like if your worst nightmares had a family reunion and decided to invite a bunch of flying monsters. They serve no higher purpose. They just exist to create chaos, to drag everything into darkness. Their role in Fantasia is an artistic interpretation of the battle between light and dark, good and evil. And while they may be destructive, they are also an unavoidable part of the cycle, existing only for as long as the darkness rules. In a way, they're the ultimate reminder that sometimes evil doesn't need to explain itself. It just exists. And there you have it, 8 of the most powerful and terrifying Disney villains, each with their own unique brand of chaos and destruction.